Alright, so not too long after the first game, because of its success, we got a sequel. Now, the title is a bit tricky. In the region of America it's called Going Commando, but when it came to actually exporting it, usually it's just labeled Ratchet and Clank 2, but sometimes there are some other subtitles, like in my country it can be translated as Fire at Will, for example, or apparently from what I read in some countries like Australia is Locked and Loaded. Also, here's the thing, I think Pedro mentioned it in the past in some other run, but get this, for the PAL version, you can't pick the subtitles. Apparently because they did not bother to even import just the English one. I got nothing.
Huh.
Welcome back to Behind the Hero. Tonight's heroes are the
Anyway,
duo who recently
let's see
restored
what happened
peace and
after the
order
defeat
to our
of Chairman
galaxy.
Drek.
Ratchet and Clank. So, gentlemen,
With the Ratchet
tell
now
us
being
about your
voiced by
latest
James
incredible
Arnold Taylor.
adventures.
Well, as you can imagine, we've been
Other than
pretty
that,
busy.
every
After
returning
Drek's defeat,
character
there were
has the same
parades,
voice
press
actor.
conferences, fancy dress balls.
And the wiener roast at Al's.
Oh yeah, that. And then things started to slow down.
Clank, I think you got
After
a
that,
groupie.
well,
There was the grand opening at Groovy Lube
right. I think that was last week.
6 months ago.
We're still pretty busy, but in a more, domestic sense.
Yesterday, I flushed out my radiator core.
I guess no one needs a hero right now.
Meanwhile, in the distant Bogon galaxy...
By the way, Ratchet, how was your vocal surgery?
I found
It was just mine, actually.
Seconds later.
Oh.
Yeah, the beginning of the plot is almost very rapid fire in terms of telling things. Because there's this guy, Abercrombie Fitzwidget, voiced also by Jim Ward, the director of a corporation called Megacorp, okay, in our galaxy beneath the help of Ratchet and Clank.
Oh no, we've been kidnapped.
So,
To be fair,
you
they
need
were
me
not
to go on
doing
a
anything
dangerous mission in
particular,
another
so...
galaxy.
Ironically, if anything, they were getting bored.
This thing, the protopet.
Oh boy.
Radio? You got the wrong game, buddy. The idol's room is the other way.
We'll do it!
We will?
Frank, I have precipitated your recalcitrance and have made special improvisations for you. We are prepared to
Yeah, the thing else about Fitzwidget is that he mixes words all the time.
And our state-of-the-art robotic masseuse.
Deal.
As for you, Ratchet, I'll need you in superlatory shape while in transit to the Bogon Galaxy.
So yeah, Clank will actually do a bit of a training off-screen, technically. It will be served to justify a bit more the new gameplay mechanics. 2 weeks later. And I really don't like this initial armor for Ratchet.
It was, a work in progress.
Thankfully, you can get better ones. You can get better ones in the, not too long in the game, but really, as a starting costume, it's a downgrade if you ask me. It has the same energy to me as Sora's costume in Kingdom Hearts 3D. Possibly good in a vacuum, but compared to other cases in the franchise, definitely a weak.
So here's the deal, basically. Because we're in space, there's a limitless potential for different planets. Basically, whereas the first game took place in the Solana galaxy, this will take place in the Bogon galaxy, which means a whole new slew of planets.
Alright, your moves have virtually remained the same from the first game, but because we're doing Metroid Syndrome, your arsenal has been reset. Your now starting weapons are traditional pistol and another grenade launcher. But as you're about to see also, everything is just not that much, but just a bit enough faster in order to be more snappy and responsive, as you're about to see. You still also can get into first person, which is a bit more accurate, thankfully. Your main enemies here for now will be actually these spider robots.
Now, unlike a lot of series that one could argue get their true identity by the second game, I would argue that the Ratchet and Clank series is one that garnered its true identity over the course of all 3 games, essentially, including who would actually be the main antagonist of the series, which, no, I would still not really established in this game. That's a later one. I digress, though.
I was looking into the developers of this game, and the name of the composers has actually caught my attention. Alongside David Bergeron, returning from the previous game, a guy who's credited for additional music is Niels by Nielsen, a Danish composer who would later go on to score the recent Hitman trilogy.
Huh.
Interesting.
Compared to the first game, this one definitely adds a bit more of a secret agent kind of feeling, you know, in terms of some of the missions that you perform. So maybe that might have been, you know, a bit of an not inspiration, but you know, what later would inspire. Some of your gadgets are still remain the same, like the oxygen mask eventually, you know, you still automatically equip it. But yeah, your grenade launcher here is actually more elegant, you know, a bit bulky, but much more effective, especially perfect for crowd control, because it even polarizes some medium-level enemies. Even the blaster, as you could... Yeah, even the Lancer, your starting pistol, is actually more fast and, you know, still effective. The trade-off being that it consumes more ammo.
It feels like, in general, the movement is a lot snappier and quicker.
God damn it.
I see it's time
Okay, I
to
don't remember who
update my
voices Discount
security
Raziel
forces.
here. Someone
no,
one
hey,
time
no, look,
did
I'm
say
just
it
here
was
to fix
Void
that
Hidings, but it's not him.
Transflexor coil.
Nice try. Give my regards to Megacorp. Finish him.
Ow.
The Unknown.
It's the unknown!
It's Roger Bompass,
Okay.
who voices Squidward in SpongeBob.
Oh, interesting, considering the character design kinda looks a bit similar too.
This is what Squidward eventually resorts to.
Oh no, Drove, everyone's headcanon is that that's why, you know, the species, you know, the evil species that the main antagonist of Baldur's Gate 3 decides to invade that world. Whereas Maxor will actually says in his summation to create the Squidward Random State. Jesus. This is an interaction for the other enemies, the Thugs for Less, with their leader voiced by Steve Blum.
Market for some security.
You bring the cash, we'll bring the thrash.
Good. I need your best men to meet me at these coordinates.
Go on, Peter, in the meantime.
Okay, Darth Vader.
No, but that's the thing. The original PS2 release of this game had subtitles. You can look it up if you don't want. If you don't know. What the hell happened? Like you could, even if for whatever reason you didn't want to include the other subtitles, you could still include the English ones. There's literally no reason for it. And again, the sad part is that it's amazing how it's like they left it intentionally out, because the subtitle option is still in the options, but you can't do anything with it.
We just blacked it out.
Like, seriously, did Deck 9 make these remasters like under the space of 2 months each?
You've acquired nanotech.
Oh yeah, another thing that I haven't mentioned. Your nanotech has been also reworked, as you can see, the bar on top. Instead of it being just, you know, a 4 number for most of the game, now you have like a, you know, yeah, there you go. You have a square, you know, like figure, divided in quarters, and each of them that constitutes a hit point. But as you can see, there's also an experience bar. The more enemies you defeat, the better actually gets, which is basically your major improvement, you know, compared to the first game. The more you play the game and the better you are efficient at it, the better you will actually become by getting more life points, you know, and subsequently also getting better with your weapons, as you'll be able to see.
Classic upgrade system.
Also, there you go, classic Insomniac joke. There have been at least 2 or 3 Spyro level introductions that did that.
Ratchet checking
So
in,
here's
sir.
the problem, the protopad escaped with discount radios, so where to get them?
So soon.
There was a slight problem. The thief escaped with the experiment, and I have no idea where he was headed.
Not to worry. I just received an emission which may lubricate the matter.
Do you have any maps for this quadrant of the galaxy?
You bet, mister! We got galactic maps, 3D maps, foldouts, cutouts, maps to the stars, and their homes.
Sorry about that. Oh, I forgot my wallet. Could you take care of this?
Someone is getting shoved in a locker.
Perimeter defenses deactivated.
I mean, I thought he was going to be shot for a second there, so he got off lucky.
You know, you gotta love how his tone implies that if he actually had the wallet, he would have paid it.
It was more like intentionally provoking the joke. Anyway, here's our proper first planet, since that spaceship was a tutorial. Planet Oozla. Okay, your map is also slightly better, you know, better to understand, and once again, the main objectives are still marked on the map, but later you will get them automatic if you're missing something that, you know, you might want. And yeah, because we're in a different galaxy, instead of Gadgetron, everything is actually handled by Megacorp instead. But otherwise, second verse same as the first, you know.
But yeah, essentially, when you think about it, Ratchet and Clank are like some heroes for hire now, since, in spite of being celebrities, there wasn't really much to do, so they literally get hired for this next job, essentially. And as such, comes with it a whole new expansion on the system, essentially. This, in a sense, will also set a bit of the tone. Now, capitalism was a thing even in the first game, but starting with this game, it becomes a lot more, shall we say, comedic. That's not to say that, you know, there can't be stakes, but it does feel like, you know, for a lot more plots, the priority will be more on the wild antics that Ratchet and Clank happen to find themselves into, which allows them to stumble onto the main plot, as opposed to the first game where they pretty much were already set on it. At least Clank was, you know, for the true altruistic good. Let's just say, starting with this game, Clank himself will get a bit of a taste of that star power, for better or for worse.
You also notice that your Lancer has, well, most of your weapons have an auto-lock feature, you know, for the sake of, you know, having you not having to aim, you know, all the time, making things a bit, you know, more easier on you.
Bit of a shame that our weapons take out the civilians along with the bad guys.
Well, no, the civilian was actually dragged down. Again, it also happened in the swamp. Apparently someone or something is actually haunting the Megacorp sellers that were actually being in the area, which, you know, makes one wonder why would you build, you know, a Megacorp wall in the middle of a fucking swamp.
Weird. Usually whenever I'm playing this, like, I'm always blasting so much that I assume that they're implying that the civilians also get taken out by your blast, but I guess it makes sense. I feel like they should have made that a bit more apparent with, like, the vines or whatnot grabbing them, but yes, I guess, to be fair, that does play into what we'll find out later.
In general,
anyway,
since we was talking about it, the music is a bit better compared to the first game. Still not as memorable as it probably wants to be, but technically better, just enough to, you know, fitting also better the tone. Oh, don't worry, game, I'm already ahead of you.
As a sequel, Ratchet and Clank 2 is, well, it's ideally what a sequel should be. An expansion and refinement of what Ratchet and Clank 1 did, essentially. I don't feel like it's the definitive one of the trilogy, me personally, that's up your arsenal. But, again, I would say that I feel like most of the issues from the first game are pretty much ironed out in this title.
Oh, remember, it's also where it starts with properly your leveling up system for your character and your weapons. not to mention some of the quality of life improvements that make sure that grinding for balls is actually easier, despite, you know, making you still do it.
So I think it's implied that these plant things are the things that are dragging down civilians.
Yes, although it's not really a plant-like thing, but we will have to see that in a later part. Ow.
Well, you know, it looks like a plant.
Did this count trash compactor monster from episode 4?
Yeah.
Again, as a first mini-boss, so it's not that bad, honestly. Even did not soak that much damage. Trust me, there are still sponges in this game.
Ratchet and Clank 2 tries to improve on the bosses. I do say try because I feel like it partway succeeds, but not fully.
Alright, here's our first gadget instead. Something new and actually very different, the Dynamo. This serves to activate contextually sensitive, you know, energy points, which basically act as, I shit you not, a Green Lantern construct, as you're about to see, because it makes platform rises that are very green colored. I probably should have inserted that clip from MST3K that says, and suddenly I feel a refreshing mint flavor. Also, gotta love the nice touch that the moment you enter the mall, the music, you know, changes to what it was. Again, this is technically nothing new. The first Blood game had something similar like that, like this going on. So, but it's still cute enough.
Cute. Guess Ratchet doesn't have the best willpower since those green constructs unfortunately fade out after a bit of time.
I guess. He also noticed that because Clank is still, you know, doing his own quote-unquote personal training, aka, you know, chillaxing with the massager robo girl, Ratchet is on his own for this first part of the game. In order to also, you know, giving you a set of obstacle courses that, you know, don't rely completely onto you, you know, utilizing like the double jump. Like the glide, sorry. Also, being a Megacorp mall means that potentially almost all of the articles can be smashed to gain extra balls. They're not giving much, and it's best to actually do it on a second visit once you have the upgrade that allows you to smash everything with a, you know, jump attack. Because, yeah, you can still use the Graviton Bomb technically, but if you don't want to waste, you know, ammunition, you better just wait. Especially because, you know, as you can see, the bolts that you get are not that much, so you might also want to wait for that extra feature that gets added in New Game Plus, that I will talk way later in the game. Let's also activate these.
Megacorp is pleased to announce a 3%
moving on.
all Megacorp merchandise.
Evidently, the small has seen better days, but it's nice to see that the mechanics are still going.
And another thing important, you can actually, this is a place where you have to return later because you need your magnet boots to actually go properly up there. And trust me, it's for the better that you don't get to go there right now.
But yes, it's a classic Metroid situation. You remember all your upgrades from the first game? Yeah, we'll just be taking those from you.
Some of them are still there, like I said, like the oxygen mask for convenience sake. It's just that others instead, you know, are just reset for convenience sake.
Ratchet, come
yeah,
here.
unfortunately the thief is long gone, so...
Listen, I have some new information on our experiment's wherewithal. The thief was indemnified at Megacorp's Mactar Resort. Also,
oh goody, this is part of another thing that the franchise introduces, American Gladiators parodies.
Manipulating our annual Galactic Gladiators broadcast. See for yourself.
Huh.
Ask yourself, are you man enough, hero enough, insane enough to step into the ring with two of the fiercest warriors in the galaxy?
We didn't get this on our version of Gladiators.
Bad liar, but that's okay.
You don't have the same attitude as some of those video game commercials that say, "Hey, what are you, a worm? Play our game or fuck off."
Competition. Be there as Chainblade.
It also said to introduce some bosses that are exclusive to these places, which will be also a staple for the franchise, having enemies that are completely unique for the arenas. Again, Kingdom Hearts actually will have something similar going on.
No living creature is a match for this machine. Watch 6 tons of Carbonox alloy hunt for its prey. There's no consolation prize, cause this bad boy's programmed to show no mercy. So, what are you waiting for? Call now to bring Chainblade and the V2 Brawler into your living room. But put away the fine china. The Galactic Gladiators, only on Megaview. Call your provider now.
Lovely.
Chainblade, huh? I've got the coordinates. Ratchet out.
I will say, like, I get giving Ratchet an outfit, but I don't know, maybe they were testing stuff, but green feels weird. Granted, this is me speaking with hindsight, as now he has his more iconic orange outfit as his main outfit,
starting
but
also
still.
with this game, you can, it's because this game also introduces the concept of armor system. Again, more and more in the game you can actually acquire different armors that you can use, so it's not just for fashion, but also practical. And yes, the armors later in the game become actually better looking than this. It's just that this starting one is just a punch in the eye. At least to
well,
me.
yeah, like my typical rule is that this is clearly the design that they want to represent Ratchet in this game, because typically the starting outfit is like the... Yeah, I'm pretty sure like that's typically the official artwork, so yeah.
Also, here's our first new weapon acquired, the Chopper. This is basically just the first iteration of that weapon that I mentioned back in Resistance 2, because, you know, one weapon that you got there is a reference to that. Essentially, a shuriken launcher. No, I'm not gonna use it super immediately, but a shuriken launcher that actually sticks to the target and bounces off of it a couple of times before dispersing. Again, it's relatively simple, but still pretty fun. And again,
interesting mentality.
And as you can see, like I said, your weapons also do have experience bars, so the more you use them, the better they get, and the different, you know, capabilities they acquire until they reach a specific level cap. So again, the game even incentivizes you to use them. Now, as for this section, you need to actually ride these nightmare monstrosities, holy shit, in order to cross these, let's just say it's a swamp, because the color makes it look like something else, and I'm pretty sure it was intentional.
You know, speaking of Ratchet and Clank, do we know if they have... Okay, I know that there's definitely a sequel hook for Rift Apart, but have we heard if they have, you know, concrete plans yet?
Well, as we mentioned a couple of times, bro, but the data theft that recently happened with Insomniac suggests that they had something planned for 2029. God, will we even get there? Question mark. But again, considering plans changed recently due to, for example, the Spider-Man multiplayer game that they had in program being cancelled, who knows? Maybe the entire schedule has been basically reshuffled, not necessarily completely, you know, switching position, but basically with titles happening a bit before when they're supposed to happen.
Plus that was being struck by the actors.
Also, that was cute, Insomniac. A Venus flytrapper that I have to jump on and not get eaten by. I see what you did there. But yeah, no, like, I do get what you mean. Like, Insomniac are in a weird thing. That's why I asked Concrete, because yes, we saw the leak stuff there, but those plans can change on a dime, or
it's pretty much clear that right now we're focusing on the Wolverine game, so we have to wait until, you know, that is released to see what's gonna happen.
Not only that, but in recent, as the time of this recording's news, yeah, it sounds like they're having a change in management, which I'm not sure how much that will affect their plans.
Well, again, Ted Price retiring, it's not because of, like, the failure of the company or anything. It's simply put, he just decided, you know, it was enough of, you know, of working age, which, you know, fair enough.
Yeah, he specifically said he's going to retire.
Like, look, he was in this non-stop for 30 years, and to his credit, while Insomniac may have had some bumps in the road, they still have maintained their quality and dignity, I would say, which is a bit, sadly, becoming a bit of a tall order for some game companies, essentially. Like, no. Insomniac, through the rises, falls, and whatnot, have overall maintained their sense of dignity overall, and that's in spite of them taking on all these projects too, which, as we saw with Platinum, can sometimes be the reason for a game company's downfall. But
alright,
yeah.
Here's our next gadget.
Welcome, welcome. If everyone could take their seats,
I'm sure they'll give it to us free.
Demonstration. First, I'll need a volunteer. Anyone? Excellent. Your name, sir?
The only one here.
Hey! And there you have it, the Megacorp tractor beam in action. Let's give it up for our volunteer. Sir, how about taking advantage of our show special?
Nope, you need to buy it for 1,000 bolts.
Thank you, sir. You
of course.
won't be disappointed.
The tractor beam.
Alright, the tractor beam. Something tells me someone in Insomniac was a fan of the gravity gun from Half-Life 2, but had not, the PS2 had not the capabilities of replicating it.
Yeah, I get that feeling from this.
It's still decent enough as a tool, you know, and it's used for pretty much a decent enough variety of, you know, puzzle solving. So again, still good enough. Anyway, there you go. Here's our collectible. For this, it's not anymore the gold bolt. In this case, it's the platinum bolt. It's different. It's a different shit. Well, moving on. Again, thankfully the checkpoint system is generous enough and doesn't make you really lose anything.
Yeah, basically if you die, you typically keep what you've collected, essentially.
Yeah. I think it's pretty much everything that I need to do on this planet for now. We'll come back here to fix that thing with the magnet boots. You will also create a shortcut here.
Ta-da! But yeah, speaking of Ratchet and Clank 2, am I the only one who feels like, of the trilogy, Ratchet and Clank 2 kind of gets passed over a bit in terms of long-term continuity when the series brings stuff up?
Yes and no. It's complicated and we need to wait at least at the end of this game to mention something.
Yeah. It's just like, I feel like of the three games, 2, for certain reasons, gets referenced the least. Like, 3 has obvious reasons why it's constantly looked back at, and 1, well, 1's literally the start, so yeah, we even had stuff like the remake and all that. Again, we'll elaborate later at a less spoilery time.
For the time being, see you for the next part where we actually go to that planet with the arena. See ya.
See ya.
See ya.